What's going on, guys? Aaron here. Welcome to the video. So huge news today, including JP Morgan saying that Bitcoin and ETH can be collateral, which is huge. First, though, I want to touch on this right here, then getting to the story with JP Morgan and talking about Bitcoin and ETH. And then Trump pardoned CZ over at Binance. A lot of big news today. Let's dive in with this.
I think you're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year, and it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
So that is Tom Lee saying that he thinks there's going to be a rally into the end of the year for crypto. This is really the big story of today. JP Morgan Chase & Co. plans to allow institutional clients, so not yet individuals, to use their holdings of Bitcoin and Ether as collateral for loans by the end of the year. That's huge. The program will rely on a third-party custodian to safeguard the pledged tokens and builds on JP Morgan's earlier move to accept crypto-linked ETFs as collateral, so using crypto ETFs as collateral. The expansion is part of a broader trend of major banks bringing digital assets into the lending system, with other firms like Morgan Stanley, State Street Corp, and Fidelity also offering crypto-related services. So guys, this is huge, right? At the end of the day, I think that all these big banks want to hold your Bitcoin. I think there is a real push to this because there is something, pristine about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most pristine collateral. Here it says the expansion underscores how quickly crypto is being pulled into the financial system's core plumbing. With Bitcoin rallying this year and the Trump admin rolling back regulatory hurdles, major banks are starting to bring digital assets deeper into the lending system. So, I've talked on the station a couple times about different ways to borrow against your Bitcoin and ETH and Solana, right? So there are many options for doing that. And now we're seeing JP Morgan, huge, saying that they want to get into this as well. But let's just listen back to what Jamie Dimon said not too long ago.
All that's been a waste of time, and why you guys waste any breath on it is totally beyond me.
Because you just think the whole thing just is
going to zero?
Going to zero and it's fake?
Bitcoin itself is a hyped up fraud. It's a pet rock.
You're back to that?
Yeah,
really?
Of course, yeah. How do you know it's going to stop at 21 million?
Because
I've mentioned this to people.
Satoshi.
Everyone says that. Well, maybe it's going to get to 21 million, and Satoshi's picture is going to come up and laugh at you all and say, no.
There isn't a picture.
And by then, Satoshi will have taken out billions of dollars. I called it a decentralized Ponzi scheme. The hype around this thing has been extraordinary.
So that's that, right? Jamie Dimon looking like a moron. I kind of agree because he did a complete 180, right? Not too long ago, a couple years ago, it's a Ponzi used for criminals, blah, blah, blah. Now they're going to be taking your Bitcoin and ETH to use it as collateral. Obviously starting with institutional clients because that's how things roll out first, and then moving probably, most likely, to individuals. And Michael Saylor says, don't wait until your banker tells you to buy Bitcoin. So this news story is getting around, obviously on Yahoo Finance, JP Morgan to allow Bitcoin and Ether as collateral in crypto push. And real quick, shout out to iTrust. So I have a Roth retirement account there, a Roth IRA. And one of the reasons that I like them is that you can first off roll a retirement account into iTrust. Use my code Bennett7 if you want to get started with a $100 bonus, but also right here. So they are using some of the biggest custodians, and this ties into Chase, what I just talked about, Chase Bank. So iTrust uses institutional grade custody like Fidelity and Wells Fargo and Coinbase Prime and others in order to secure your crypto. So if you want to start a retirement account, roll over a dead 401k that you have sitting there not doing anything, and buy Bitcoin, ETH, and 50 or more other cryptos, you can absolutely do so using my link below. And make sure to use the promo code Bennett7 in order to grab your $100 funding bonus. So let's talk right here. We have CZ, and Trump pardoned him. Let's take a look.
Are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything, that what he did, well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing, you fake news. But let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime, that he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people.
Yeah, so at the request of a lot of really great people, he pardoned CZ. Now, a lot of people are very opinionated on this. So CZ says, deeply grateful for today's pardon and to Trump for upholding America's commitment to fairness, innovation, and justice. We'll do everything we can to help make America the capital of crypto and advance Web3 worldwide. So a lot of people, including Elizabeth Warren, said that CZ pleaded guilty to a criminal money laundering charge and was sentenced to prison. But then he financed Trump's stablecoin and lobbied for a pardon. But that just wasn't true. So right here, CZ says, a U.S. senator can't get her facts right in a public post about a person's charge. There were no money laundering charges. The same senator declared war on crypto on public TV 5 days before my sentencing during the Biden administration. Need a better example of weaponizing the Biden's DOJ against crypto? Anyway, so that's CZ. We have Scott Melko saying, shame on you, Senator. CZ did not plead guilty. He pled guilty for causing Binance to violate the Bank Secrecy Act, BSA, by failing to implement an effective anti-money laundering program. Ocean of difference between the two. Yeah, I agree. Pleading guilty for causing Binance to violate the BSA is different than pleading guilty to a criminal money laundering charge. There are differences there, but let me know in the comments if you agree with that. Mike Belshi, the CEO of BitGo, said similar things. CZ pleaded guilty to violating the BSA, right? Not money laundering. Very, very different. Without minimizing the severity of that, because it is serious, right? He's the only person ever to receive jail time solely for this violation, while traditional banks like TD Bank pay billions in fines for massive AML, anti-money laundering failures with no execs imprisoned. Yeah, true. This disparity highlights how he was unjustly persecuted for being in crypto and is why the pardon is absolutely justified. Interesting, right? And finally, guys, we have stocks at all-time highs, home prices, close to all-time highs, Bitcoin around 10% or so from the all-time high, gold pretty close to the all-time high, money supply high, national debt really high, CPI inflation 4% per the year since January 2020, and the Fed cutting rates again next week. So who knows what'll happen, but I tend to believe this. We have a picture of Jerome Powell in a helicopter with dollar bills floating all around him. Essentially, he is airdropping people, or I should say people that own assets, money, because most likely this is going to increase the prices of everything, stocks, homes, Bitcoin, gold, all that. All right. So that is it for the video, guys. Let me know what you think below. Other than that, Bitcoin, crypto, pretty boring, not much going on. So just focusing on some big stories today. Again, we have a JP Morgan saying that they want to use Bitcoin and Ether as collateral. Huge. Let me know your thoughts below on that. CZ getting pardoned. Let me know your thoughts on that below too. And there are even talks I didn't talk about. We have Sam Bankman-Fried possibly, or there are talks of him getting pardoned too. We'll see. That would be huge because he's currently in jail serving a lot of time. So guys, that's it for the video. Check out iTrust Capital if you want using my link below. I use it myself. Love it. No issues for many, many years that I've had an account there. Hope you are well. Till next time, talk with you soon and bye for now.